Welcome back to Interpreting the Scares! That's right, we're back at it on our month-long journey throughout the nightmares. Now remember, this month I'm taking a look at 31 foreign horror films in chronological order. I already watched the first 3 films in the Ringu series, but we're taking a little bit of a break from that this time around to check out a film that's technically the 3rd most popular film this entire month, based off of stats found on Letterboxd. It's Audition. Never quite heard of this film before, but we'll find out if it's any good, and let's get cracking. This film centers on a Yomam, who is a recent widower, and his son as they go about their lives after the mother of the family died years before. His son, trying to cheer up his old daddy-o, suggests he remarry. So he plans to do just that, but he doesn't quite know where to start. A colleague of his has a genius idea to hold an audition for a movie that doesn't actually exist as a form of a dating service. When he meets Asami Yamazaki, somebody that he believes is the one, the production of the film is suddenly canceled and now he can date. But there's just one problem. This chick is psychotic and has no problems with dismembering her significant others. This one was definitely interesting. That's a good word to put it. I'm not fully sure why it's one of the more popular films of the month, but in a way, I kind of get it. It follows the exact formula that made me decide to do foreign horror in the first place this month. And that's kind of mixing a couple of genres that don't usually go together, as well as the fact that they don't just resort to cheap jump scares and production value to make a film. They actually try. And all of that was definitely apparent in Audition, which doesn't feel like a horror film. Like most of the time, 80% of the movie isn't even horror at all. The movie is 2 hours long, or just under it, and the first 90 minutes of the film, an hour and a half, was not horror. It was a romantic drama, nothing more. Like you got some hints that maybe something might be wrong with this girl, but for the most part, the way that it played out was no different than like When Harry Met Sally, or something like that. But the last half hour though, was torture porn central. Now a big part of the film has been called a feminist thing. And I'm not so sure about that, but implications for the Me Too movement are apparent, even though this was years before that. You literally have a couple of producers taking advantage of women by faking a production to audition women to be this dude's girlfriend, basically. And they're using their power in a way to date her. Not at the promise of the part, because that doesn't actually exist, but still. There's something really sketchy there that makes me kind of wonder if this dude deserves what's coming to him. Because on the other side of the spectrum, he's also a loving father. Then again, before he even met this psycho chick, he had run-ins with 2 different women who were clearly interested in him romantically, and he was oblivious to it all. So he's obviously not present for some things. I don't know, I found him to be a wonderfully complex character. I didn't know whether to root for him or hate him. Heck, even the psycho chick, Asami, she had the history as well that taught her not to trust others. And in a way, you feel for her too. So it's interesting. The film definitely dove pretty darn deep into crafting characters that you remember and feel unsure about overall. I do feel a little bit spoiled on the fact that it's a horror film and that gore plays into it, because that doesn't happen until the end. Had I not known that, it would have felt like a typical romantic drama film, and the sudden shift into tortured territory would have made the viewing experience insane. But at the same time, if I didn't know about the torture stuff, the movie would probably have never made the list this month. So it's a little bit of a catch-22, but my only hope is that other people go into this film not knowing anything about it. But that would also require not reading up about it, not watching this review, not watching trailers, or even looking up the poster. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. So whatever, my gripes with this film are very, very few. In general, I loved the structure, but I didn't care so much about the story as much. I found it implausible. The idea of creating a fake production in order to do this audition thing seemed way out of left field and would be a lot easier to just sign up for Tinder. Maybe not so much in 1999, but even just going to a bar would be easier. Plus, he's not trying to date. Technically, he's trying to marry. And so I feel like there's a stronger emphasis and importance on chemistry in this film, because you know that at some point he's going to pop the question really, really quickly. And we, as an audience, have to believe the chemistry is there. And I didn't. There just wasn't enough time to build onto that relationship for me to fully believe that it actually had any real chemistry. It also had some weird choices in the editing room that left me confused. One scene in particular, about 48-49 minutes in, felt like one of my videos on YouTube where there are these obvious cuts during a conversation. Somebody will be talking and it cuts a couple of times in the middle of the same sentence, at the same angle, and you see the cuts. One easy way to get around that would just be a quick shift in angle or perspective, so I want to say that the edit mistakes are there on purpose. But if so, I still think that it kind of looks jank. With that being said, I still enjoyed the movie in general, but don't quite think that it's as good as the Ringu movies. It's better than Spiral, but that's obvious. Let's go ahead, take a look at my final score for Audition, which was a B- letter grade, final overall score of 71%, 71 out of 100 possible stars. So in my world, that means the film's decent. It's nothing groundbreaking, even though I do like the structure. But what about you guys though? What are your thoughts on Audition? Have you seen it? Please let me know in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next installment for Interpreting the Scares, which I will be returning to the world of The Ring again with Ring 0. So don't miss out on that one, and I'll see you then. Peace out.